Dem say pikin wey no know juju go call am vegetable. Welcome back, guys. This is Madness in Nigeria Living, and I'm your host, Getsy. I know a lot of you might not know the adage, but you might have heard different variation of the adage. One of them being, if you cook sweet yam, no eat am for outside. I think what I find most fascinating about the adage is what the adage is trying to tell us. It teaches us how to be very cautious. But what I'm trying to question here is, what brings about the need for cautiousness? Is it a generally good trait, or is it just fear-driven? I think this is something that the story will better portray. One of those stories is one I had when I was in my final year. No, the year before my final year. A friend of mine, his aunt just died, and he was happy. His aunt just died. And one would think, why was he happy that his son died? Well, the story goes is that he saw a black cat at the back of their house one evening and killed the cat because the cat is obviously a witch. And then the aunt died around the same time, meaning she's obviously a witch too. And she sent the cat, or she was the cat. And that's quite a fascinating story. One will wonder, where does that mindset come from? I think the mindset is something we all already know as Nigerians, and that mindset is exemplified with one term: village people. Yes, village people. If you are not from Nigeria, you'll hear the term village people and might think it shows our big love for community and wanting to be part of our grand root community, but you'll be wrong. Village people, I think the foreign term for it is evil eye, which is people who they are envious of you and go out of their ways to cause evil to you whenever something good is happening to you. Where does this mindset come from, and why is it deeply ingrained in us? That's the thought process I've been wondering. And to tackle this thought process, this idea will be broken into 2 episodes. This episode you're listening to now, and next week episode. So back to today's episode. Why would you rejoice if your aunt died? Obviously, because she's a witch. But is it just your village people? No. The thing is, you have to be cautious. That's what they tell you. You have to be cautious who you tell your success. And I want to think the mindset comes from different problems. The first one is what is commonly known as the crab mentality. Or to be more specific, it's commonly known as the crab in a bucket mentality. And it goes like this. If you put a single crab in a small bucket, the crab will be able to climb out. But if you put a group of crabs in the same bucket, no one will be able to climb out, because anytime one starts climbing out, the other crabs pull it back in. If you grow up in the kind of environment where you feel your closest neighbors, your closest family, your closest friend are always there to pull you back, and being very cautious is a very good trait. But is that really the truth for Nigeria? To a certain degree, I would say yes, it is. We as Nigerians, we fear what our close neighbors can do to us because we have seen cases. Some of them are grounded in reality. Envy comes in. You see your neighbor buy the latest car. You see your neighbor successful, so you start a rumor. Oh, they did money ritual. Oh, they are kidnappers. And all these different O's, they can taint the reputation of this person and destroy their business. But if their business was destroyed, it's just heavenly God working for you, because evil people are not supposed to succeed. Or something like that is what we tell ourselves. Another way you can look at the concept of village people here is zero sum. I do think for a lot of Nigerians, we believe success and good fortune is a zero sum game. Meaning, if I'm being successful and I'm having good fortune, it means people around me cannot have it, which translates to I have to audit for myself, because if they have access to it, it means I'm not going to have it. And if your neighbors also have the same mindset, they will want to eliminate you too, which is why a lot of times when people have information that might be able to help their neighbors, they are very skeptical and cautious about spreading it, because you don't know how that might come back to haunt you, the evil repercussion it might bring, because your act of kindness might be seen as you trying to do evil and you are parading it as something else. This mindset, if you hear me say it out as I'm saying it right now, you'll see how absurd it sounds. It's almost sickening. But this sickening mindset is deeply ingrained in us. So why do we think this way? Why is village people so important to us? When I was making my research, I saw something. I saw one article, and the article was trying to create a correlation between the spread of the village people mindset and Nollywood movies propagating it. But I don't think so personally, because I think Nollywood movies try to reflect our society, and if these were the movies made in the 90s, that was already the mindset in the 90s. But something I also find very interesting about the village people concept here is the need for us to still go back to our literal village and show we are now successful, which seems counterintuitive. Like, if you do believe village people will be envious and try to kill you, why would you go back to flaunt? That cognitive dissonance is something that is deeply fascinating for me, because in one hand, a lot of Nigerians believe in village people, both literal and figuratively, wanting to harm you. In another hand, to quote Biggie, you are nobody till somebody tries to kill you. So our value and success is also linked to being caused by people around us. So why is that so? That's another question I just asked. I just keep on asking, why is that so? So if zero-sum game mindset does not fully explain it, and the crab mentality doesn't also fully explain it, what caused the village people's mindset? I would say another possible explanation for the village people's mindset is dipped in our strong belief in mysteries of the universe and spirituality. Like, the average Nigerians see coincidence and link it to something divine. If a bad fortune happened to you, it has to be something evil. If a good fortune happened to you, it has to be God. And this mindset has its benefit, but it also has its disadvantages. And one of said disadvantages is, if we always feel something bad is being done to us anytime life doesn't go our way, we might not learn the lessons that life has to offer. Imagine you are going for an interview. On your way to the interview, your tire gets flat, so you miss the interview. Oh wow, village people, they are after my life. You see, if you have that kind of mindset, it stops you from understanding that maybe checking your tires beforehand and having an extra tire might save you for next time. These are the type of lessons that you are supposed to learn from every misfortune. But if you see the misfortune as village people, what you end up doing is just be suspicious of everyone around you and pray against them. In making my research for this episode, I read a couple of stories that I just find very fascinating. So I'm just going to talk the stories. One of the stories I read here was a girl that was about to travel out to USA for a scholarship, and in the preparation of her getting ready for the scholarship, she only mentioned it to her mom, and her mom was adamant to not mention it to any other person in the family, not even her aunt, who she stayed with for 5 years when she was in university. So when she finally traveled out 3 months later was when the aunt found out. The aunt felt distrust and just felt like, oh, these are not my family members, because if someone that I treated like my daughter did not deem it fit to tell me good news like this, am I really family members with these people? Another one I read was a colleague that was pregnant, and our workers were like, are you pregnant? Your stomach is looking bigger. And she kept on saying, it's the lunch, she's having indigestion. And she went on like this till she finally gave birth, and she was like, she didn't know she was pregnant. When I read that story, in one hand I was laughing, in another hand I remembered 2 of my friends. One is late, one is still alive. They both were pregnant. One announced that she was pregnant, who uploaded pictures of her stomach on Instagram. The other one kept it a secret, and one of them died during childbirth. I think if you are Nigerian, you would already have an idea which one you think died during childbirth. But you'll be wrong for this story, because the one who kept it a secret, I knew she was pregnant, but she never told me she was pregnant. She died during childbirth in 2021. the other one gave birth. So the crazy thing is this: if we start saying that there's no correlation between hiding your good fortune and between evil happening to you, will it make a big difference? That's what I'm not entirely sure. Because in one hand, people can really mean to cause harm because they feel like your success is at the detriment of everyone else. In another hand, if you live your life distrusting everybody around you, it prevents you from building meaningful relationship, and that type of environment is not one that you can ever feel at home, can ever feel at ease. So how can we correct this? How can we change this mindset? I do think this mindset comes predominantly from poverty, and not just poverty in a kind of environment wherein opportunities are scarce. Because I was talking to a friend of mine that got a contract, and he mentioned the contract easily. We were just talking and he just mentioned, oh, he just got signed for this. And it's like, wow, that's not the normal Nigeria way. Isn't he scared? And I thought about it, like, why would that be the first thought? The simple thing that came to my mind was, if you did not grow up in abundance, your well-being, your success is not something you easily want to mention. You want to keep it because you're not sure who means you well. You're not sure who means you evil. And because of that, we have to be careful of village people. But we shouldn't live our life distrusting everyone around us. I'm not saying you should post your whole life online. I'm strongly against that. But I'm just saying you can express yourself without the fear. If you're a Christian, if you're a Muslim, believe your God would protect you. Just don't live your life thinking everything is so connected that a random act of misfortune was caused by your uncle, by your aunt. That kind of distrust prevents you from building a healthy community. So I don't really know how I'm going to end this episode, because the main idea I think brings about this village people concept is a problem of the government, and the part 2 of this would really focus more on how the government is to blame and how we can remedy it. So this is just an intro episode to the concept of village people and how we are all village people to one person or another. That random smile you smiled at a random event could have been read as you wishing harm. So you're a village people to someone else. And if you don't question why you think someone else is a village people to you, you would not notice that you are alienating yourself in a way that is not good. So see you again next week, where we talk about how the Nigerian government is really the weapon fashioned against us, and they are really the village people. And honestly speaking, if you are really that bothered about village people, just stop. I don't know. I guess we just stop. Because honestly speaking, village people is something, if you are logical about, the whole idea of it start making less and less sense. Because if evil do exist like that, why is it only in poor African and Caribbean countries? And why don't village people affect white people? And if you say yes, it does affect white people too, why are there a lot of successful people in first world countries? Don't they have village people there too? Just think about that. Next week, we'll focus on how our government is the village people. Thank you for coming again. Bye. Mwah.